Tragula, you have a question for John.
Yes, I do. Hi, John. I ran
Oh,
into your work at the at Thunder Bay conference,
oh,
and
wait,
I've been
wasn't that an amazing conference? Oh my gosh.
yeah,
I was,
it's changed my life. I've been writing like a madman ever since.
oh,
So here's
yeah,
my
yeah,
question to you. Uh, the divine virtues are hope, faith, and charity.
yeah.
Oppositional processing requires a rigid network that could be described as faithful in its evaluations. And it also requires a flexible network that could be described as hopeful in its evaluations. These two networks need to be linked in a charitable relationship such that they listen and integrate each other's evaluations. In
Is
1
that
Corinthians 13, Paul describes the divine virtues in this sort of relationship. Do you consider dialogos a form of oppositional processing? And if so, would you be willing to entertain the idea that Paul is describing oppositional processing as essential for discernment or dialogue in 1 Corinthians 13?
okay? So first, one thing, it's opponent processing,
Opponent
not opposite.
processing. Okay.
Yeah,
Opponent
I,
processing. Thanks for that correction.
yeah, but that's a merely pedantic matter because I just really like the content of what you proposed. Um, there's a video that recorded with Guy Senstock, Christopher Masterpietro, and myself doing demonstrating dialectic into dialogos. It's on YouTube channel, and we do it on hope and its relationship to the other theological virtues, and it's very consonant with what you were just proposing. But what you just did more specifically, I hadn't thought of. I think that's really powerful. So what you're, if I get you right, basically arguing that dialogos, insofar as it's depends on opponent processing, actually needs the theological virtues because they reflect constitutive elements within opponent processing and therefore dialogos. Is that correct? Did I get you right?
That is absolutely what I'm saying. And I'm saying that you could actually, like, if you read First Corinthians line by line, you can see Paul laying it out as 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 a lecturer would, describing the relationship of how opponent processing works, as having two networks or two people in conversation, having positions that have some overlap, so they're in opposition, so they have different perspectives, but they also um, are in this charitable relationship, which is why the whole
Yeah.
emphasis of 13 Corinthians is about the link, is about the sort of the how they're connected and treating each other charitably. And this is basically what I've been writing about for the last month. I've started a podcast called Finding the Frame, which is all about discernment through dialogos.
That's very cool. And when you so you, in Corinthians, like after the hymn to Agape, when he says the great like the greatest of these is love, is that what where he's laying out what you're talking about in Corinthians?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So he actually it introduces the divine virtues, and the final line is the greatest of these is love.
Right. Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So he starts off by saying there's no discernment if there's no networking, right? You cannot find a frame, right? The first line of First Corinthians, if I speak in tongues of mortals and angels, but I do not have love, I am a noisy gong or clanging
Yeah.
cymbal. So if there's no
Yeah.
connection,
I like this exegesis of Corinthians, and I like the mapping of the theological virtues onto these dimensions of opponent processing and dialogos. I don't. I mean, I like it. I don't know what else to say other than, like I said, it's consonant with the video that Guy and Chris and I did on Hope.
yeah,
I think very consonant. So I think there's a lot of convergence between, and I'm not taking away. There's definite innovation in what you're
yeah.
saying too, but there's also a lot
I,
of convergence with the work I've already done. So
yeah.
that's really cool.
I got it specifically from your final conversation with Jonathan Pajot
Oh,
on the last day
right.
of the conference. That's what
Yeah.
really this whole idea really stuck out to me, and I've been working on it ever since. I've done several videos. If people want to check them out, they're in the share your content after the talk. Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you
John.
for that. I really enjoyed that. That was really tasty. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll keep on working on it.
Yeah, please do.